So we are always the bridesmaids, but we are never the bride. We always playing catch up with someone else, and we always feel the wealth that we have gained, the houses we have, the 1 and 2 family homes, that this is the American dream. This is where I've achieved everything. This is where it starts, this is where it begins, this is where it ends. And I can tap myself on the shoulder and say, I have lived the American dream. But that is only the beginning of the dream. And you as leaders, by the very fact that you are today, you are confirming to us that you are leaders of the communities to which you belong. And you must take back that similar message, that we must not only become citizens, most people become citizens just to sponsor their family to come to the United States. And that is a fallacy because of the fact that you should become citizens not only to access better federal jobs, but you should become citizens so that you can have a stake in the political affairs from city to federal level. Other ethnicities have done it, and it's time for the Indo-Caribbean community to stand up together and to do just that, or you will still be left behind. The pillar-to-post syndrome is something we cannot be moving from country to country. From India, come to as indentured servants to Guyana, come to America as semi-indentured servants or as second-class citizens, and say, well, okay, this cycle continues. Where are we going to go next? To Australia when we can't live the American dream, and then condemn the sacrifices that we have made and for future generations to live in that cycle. That's just not what it's all about. Charity begins at home, and that is what we have to get done. So what I would encourage you to do is to, when you go home, you call on your family, tell them to become citizens, and tell them to go out and vote, because becoming citizens is not only about accessing federal jobs and getting sponsoring your family. It is also about voting, and it's also about running for office. It's also about getting empowered so that we can be on the radar screen of the county organizations, of the state senate, and of such other places, so that we can show to them that we need a seat at the table, that these people do matter, and that they're here to make a statement. And that is what I've been doing as a lawyer and as a community advocate, because I found that as a lawyer, you're curtailed by the laws. And unless you change the laws to help your community, for example, I ran against Sheriff Maltese, who was in office since 1988. No one ever dared to run against him. He was the chair of the Republican Senate District. I'm the only fool, quote unquote, so to speak, as I said, to dare to run against such a man. And yet I almost unseated him. And I announced my candidacy to run against him next year so I can complete a job. You know what was this major piece of legislation? His main claim to fame that he wanted to legalize racial profiling in New York State, meaning that any person of color, that includes just about 95% of us in this room, would be stopped and profiled by the very color of our skin per se, and nothing more. That they would look at the person, for example, that Sikh and mistake them for terrorists, very mistakenly, and stereotype beliefs, wrong stereotypes, and look at other Indo-Caribbeans who are honest, hard-working people, and other minorities such as us, and profile us. And then they will have the right to arrest us and detain us without any reasonable cause. So he was planning to change the law upside down, and this is supposed to be the bastion of democracy, the land of the free, the home, and the brave, and the land where we lead the world in democracy. And that was a crying shame. So I'd had enough of that. Thankfully, that bill is no longer going to be passed, but we have to be vigilant, because they will come again with things like this. They will come to things that divide your community, and they will come with situations where you'll be continue to be pushed aside. And if we don't be very vigilant and be very active and participatory, we will not be able to get to that level that we truly belong. So the orphan children syndrome, as I call it, we must stop being orphan children. We have to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. We have to be able to look at someone and say, I'm equal to that person. God made us in his own likeness. I may be different, and I may not be like other folks, but all of us in our own ways are God's gift to humanity. And in each and every one of you, you have to live your life to the fullest and to the maximum. And never be able to say, well, I think I may just not be as good as that other person. Because you owe it to your children for generations to come, that you'll be able to tell them and to show by your works that you consider yourself just as equal to any American, because you are Americans. That's what it is. We can't think of ourselves as a Guyanese American, a Surinamese American, a Trinidad American, a person of wherever you're from, because the fact of the matter is that you have to think of yourself as Americans. You have to assimilate and you have to live the dream just like everyone else. And you've got to show leadership in that position so that when you go out there, you can tell them and send the message to all. brothers and sisters, I thank you very much for your time and patience. There'll be another time I'll be able to take questions for you after, or you can meet and talk to me. I've sent out some handouts, if you can kindly distribute them, Pooja. I think you have them there, or where it is. Yeah, for you can read up on the race and how far we went. So I hope to bring that seat home so at least we can have a seat at the table and set an example for others to follow. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Very well done. The next speaker